We Watch Normal People on Hulu.
Yeah, so Normal People, it's a show about two characters, Marianne and Connell, as they go through like the later stages of high school, basically all of college, and it kind of centers on them, how they develop as people, but even more so than that, how they kind of like weave in and out of each other's romantic relationships. So the guy character in this relationship, his name is Connell. He's kind of like the prototypical like athlete, but also a good guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he looks like Harry Potter. We'll say that.
He doesn't really look like Harry
He
Potter.
looks like Harry Potter
He kind of looks like Harry Potter,
And,
in
like-
so far as that he is a white man.
and has the eyes and not
He doesn't
not
have
that
the
big.
hair though. Like
Not that big. Yes, he does. You have. I guess you haven't watched Seven.
okay, all right. 7. Oh, Harry Potter 7.
Yeah, he has the hair of Harry Potter 7.
Oh yeah, I guess I haven't seen Harry Potter
Yeah.
7. All right, fair.
Anyway,
fine.
but he is that like well-natured. Oh, I'm a good guy. I'm an athlete, but like I am still a jock. My jock friends might cross the line, but I won't ever
Yeah.
cross that line. Nor will I ever call them out because we're bros.
Yeah, we're broke. We're just like friends and stuff like that. He's like the quote unquote like good, nice frat guy or
Yeah.
whatever. Which
But he's the intelligent type.
yeah, man, he plays rugby / soccer / whatever sport he plays.
don't
in this
know
show.
what sport he
Yeah,
plays.
I have no clue what sport he plays. But yeah, he's like he can play sports, but he also
Yeah.
reads books.
Yeah.
Um,
So me in high school,
wow, wow, man, you're projecting yourself onto this.
except I'm black.
Love to see it. Yeah, so he's like the quiet type, and this kind of like plays out. This kind of plays like a huge role in the show because he kind of like has trouble expressing his feelings.
He sucks at expressing his feelings.
He's actually really terrible at expressing his emotions. Committing to anything.
yeah, I mean, yes.
Exactly. After watching the show, how do you feel about Connell?
I think he's, a good guy. He has the, nice good guy type feel, but like
Yeah.
in general, he is very poor at just navigating.
You about to say
relationships.
stupid?
I was gonna say I was gonna call him a dickhead, and then I was trying to
We can say dickhead on the show.
all right, he's a dickhead.
Yeah, he's a huge dickhead.
Yeah, he's just
he is very dumb.
he just doesn't understand
Relationships.
just the way to conduct yourself in relationships, like talking about things helps sometimes,
yeah, right?
and
Like if you want to date someone, just date the person, like it's not.
and like he does a bad job of like recognizing specifically Marianne's emotions, and
Oh, definitely.
he gets better as with age, but in the beginning of the show it was very, very annoying to watch him. Like you would think that he had made steps forward and then just immediately just does something that you're like, bro, why would you even do that? What's going on in your head? We don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Especially for someone who reads all this literature and all this
Yeah.
English about like romance and stuff. You would just think like, hey man, just take one of the tips from,
Yeah, man, you're majoring in
Sylvia
English,
Plath
man.
or whatever.
You're majoring in English. Use that. Use that to
Yeah.
your advantage, dog. No, I completely agree with you, and I think that I know, especially like sort of in the beginning parts of the show, like they have to reiterate over and over again how everyone likes him and how everyone thinks he's like a really good person because we don't really get to see that much of that because it's very much him just being the absolute dickhead and not being willing to date Marianne in any sort of legitimate capacity
I mean, I
and
think
acknowledge their relationship.
I think that the only way that they solidified him as like a genuine likable guy is his relationship with his mom.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have that, like you would just think, oh, he's one of those soft boys who can't call out any of his boys for being terrible people.
Yeah.
And also is a terrible person to this girl, but like he has a nice smile, nice eyes, and isn't rude. So he's cool.
Or at least outwardly rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of Connell in a nutshell. And then the other person's relationship is Marianne. She's kind of, well, you know what? He's the athlete, she's the nerd.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You know, they wear short skirts, she wears t-shirts.
Yeah,
She's kind of your prototypical like abrasive, nerdy girl who gets like undue hate from all of her peers. At least in high school.
yeah. She looks like Anne Hathaway.
Yes, they basically got the Irish Anne Hathaway to play her.
Yeah, and she brings big Anne Hathaway vibes of, innocent girl who's super sweet, but like also is like somehow very beautiful, but
like also
perceived as ugly. And it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If you looked at her, you would be like, she's not ugly.
She's pretty. Yeah.
She's pretty beautiful. And everyone's like, oh yeah, Marianne's so ugly. And it's like,
yeah.
And she gets like dolled up and you're like,
wow. Oh my gosh. She's it's big. Like, what's that one? Princess Diaries?
Yeah.
Is that the movie?
Big Hermione at the Yule Ball in Goblet of Fire. Cause
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
The show is set somewhere in the UK. We're bringing this up.
Yeah, bro.
Bring up the only other story we know set in it.
Yeah, if you got an accent that's British, Harry Potter's coming up. I'm sorry.
Indeed. She is kind of like Hermione also in the sense that like she's like super intellectual or whatever and like gets hate for that for some reason.
People are very resentful at her. Although her and Connell are pretty much the same like level of intelligence. Like they're like consistently shown as intellectual peers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that is true. In real life, you do see that happen a lot where the smart man is like just kind of like being able to let slide, and then like the smart girl gets a lot of resentment. But
oh yeah, exactly. So
and I must say this, you wouldn't really be able to tell, but like just off the way it's shot, you wouldn't really be able to tell, but like sis got the annoying vibes, like the
oh yeah, she kind of has that like annoying girl energy.
Yeah.
Even though like you mainly only see like the good parts of her, which are conveyed through like these like close up shots of her like being pensive or like like thinking about her relationship and very endearing moments, which it kind of like makes up like the show.
Yeah.
A large portion of the
probably
show.
Like 60% of the
a
show.
A solid portion of the show. Yeah.
It's just like deep Marianne shots. In the shower,
specifically in the shower, like Connell
hair
has,
wet,
yeah,
going through it,
working out her problems while working in conditioner,
that's a bar,
I would say a solid it might be like 70% of the show is just like these shots of either just Connell or just Marianne or the both of them in these like kind of sparsely decorated rooms, like without much furniture, and it's just kind of just them like looking at each other, or them looking outside, or one of them looking outside, or one of them looking at the ceiling while water in the shower was pouring on them in the shower.
Or in a pool, because Connell has the most like pointless 30-second scene where he just looks around and he's in a pool, and you're just like, bro, what was the point of this?
Yeah,
it wasn't a turning point or anything, but like it was very long. It took up like
it's a lot of them like there are a lot of shots of just them perceiving.
Yeah,
they're just like perceiving
the environment.
They
be thinking, bro.
Really pensive shots. You know the vibe. It's close up. There's like some filtered white light coming through like a window or something like that. And like there's probably like a lens flare somewhere as like they realize something about the relationship, or they long for each other. Yeah. or something like that. Like it's very introspective in that sort of way. Yeah.
I mean, I do think that like the way it's shot does develop the way that their relationship plays out, and I think the show itself is just very much centered on the relationship, specifically just the many different dynamics of said relationship. Like
I think the show does a really good job too of recognizing that that like when you have history with people, that history stays with you. So like if you like date someone from a long time ago, like that history that you have together is still like a part of how you view the other person, how it's a big part in the relationship dynamic still. Yeah, and stuff. And it does a good job of like kind of portraying like a much more realistic sense of that.
Yeah, and I think that the best way that is represented throughout the show is with the intimate scenes. So show has a lot of sex scenes.
Yeah, it has quite a few.
And they're long too.
Yeah, they're definitely focal points of episodes.
I think like one sex scene like is like at the end of one episode and like carries into the next episode.
And some weird transitions.
So you're like, bro, that's a lot of sex. But like I mean, in the beginning, it felt a bit gratuitous. Like, it was like, all right, yeah, they're having a lot of sex.
Especially because the dialogue in the first two episodes is so sparse. Like,
Yeah.
the dialogue is really... Like, I would even go to say the dialogue is bad in the first two episodes.
First episode, the dialogue is bad, I think. The second episode, it makes it a large step forward, but, like, it had to make a large step forward
exactly
for it to even be, like, a good
show.
Yeah.
Because, like, they do a lot of, like, nonverbal communication through, as I mentioned before, these, like, close-up shots of their face as they, like, just think so hard.
Yeah.
But in the end, like... Look, man, especially when you're introducing the characters in the first two episodes, like, they gotta talk.
Yeah,
you know?
you gotta
like
chat at like
yeah, like if I get to know someone, like I need to hear them speak. You know, I can't just look at them thinking. And then, like,
you can't only communicate through emojis. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine texting someone and they're
just emojis,
only
bro?
emojis, and you're like, bro, like,
yeah, right. You don't know these people, so like, it's kind of hard to be interested in how they're like falling in young love because you know you don't really care about them.
But I think that's what made the sex scenes, I think, feel just so much, because it was like, bro,
especially in the beginning.
Yeah, we didn't know them, and they were just like, oh dang, they getting it on. I mean,
like,
but I will say about the sex scenes that towards the end of the show, I think that every single one was like well done and well earned.
From like episode 3 and on, they like definitely had meaning and they had a reason to be there.
And
so it's very tasteful sex scene type beat.
Yeah, if you into the tasteful sex scenes, this is gonna be your...
Yeah, and I think that, like, you know, in stark contrast to the last show we reviewed, Too Hot to Handle, which, you know, Too Hot to Handle, a reality dating TV show versus, you know, this deep introspective look at a relationship, you know, there might be a few differences between them.
They might not be the same.
Yeah. In contrast to Too Hot to Handle, the show definitely recognizes how, like, sex and physical intimacy is a big part of a relationship and can signify a lot of things when it comes to, like, maturation and turning points in relationships, because they definitely function, sex scenes definitely function in the show as these sort of like a consummation of the emotions that have been developing since the last sex scene, basically.
Towards the end, it very much was like, oh yeah, I don't mind that this is taking up 6-7 minutes of your show, because all of those the rest of the minutes that were leading up to this,
like, gave you the context to, like, oh, I understand why they're, like, so passionate about each other, because like, here's all the history that they just went through. Right, like, they serve a purpose for sure. Do you have any, like, final thoughts about the show as a whole?
Not really as on the show as a whole, but like, not that many people of color. It's very white. It's a very white show.
Yeah, it is very, like, New Yorker tote bag carrying, like, you know, with tortoiseshell glasses in a coffee shop, like, white liberal kind of show.
It's really good though.
It's really good.
It's a really good show.
It wrong, yeah.
But it's very white. I mean, it's in Ireland, so I mean, I guess it's like you knew what it was when you signed up. I'm not really complaining. Just an observation on.
Yeah,
bro,
I mean,
it's just pretty white.
Yeah, it's just pretty white in Ireland. I mean, like, Liam Neeson couldn't find a single black person. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, it is like super white show. There are very many characters of color. Especially characters of color that have lines. Yeah. There's like
3.
There's like 3.
Well, one of them has 1 line, so I don't know if that really counts. So let's just say there's 2.
Yeah, there's 2, and both of them are like, I guess, Connell and Marianne's token minority
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, there's, if you're the type of person who like really fawns over like Lady Bird, you'll probably think the show is pretty solid.
Yeah, it is
probably
pretty
mess with
solid though. It really is.
Yeah, it is truly a like.
It's a pretty good show. I'm not gonna like. It might have sounded like we were hating on it the whole time, but
Yeah.
like we weren't.
No, dude, like there's a reason why people like close-up shots of people thinking, man. They
Yeah.
kind of go, they kind of slap.
Some of them shots slapped. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
right.
hold.
But yeah, that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank y'all for watching. If you liked the video, we'd appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe.
Be sure to let us know what you thought of the show down below in the comments, and if there's any other show that you'd like us to review.
Yeah, you can find us at the Rush Hour Pod on all social media platforms.
You can find our podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and the link is down in the description below.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.